Hello and welcome to another video by Rick Miracle Mate in my series Freemasonry and Satanism. Lordy, lordy, my investigation just gets crazier and crazier. The news, the press releases on the internet, in the newspapers, nightly news, just some crazy stuff going on. Why? This is going to be series 160 from this book that I've been looking at, Voices from the Cosmos. So what is it about the New Agers and the New World Order folks? And most people know what I'm talking about. It's not a mystery. But declaring Christianity is no longer needed, or trying to discredit it, call Christians haters. Maybe the Christians aren't going along with the gay agenda, transgenderism. And it's not just Christians. 911 enabled the powers that be, clearly, to invade Iraq and Afghanistan first, enact all kinds of legislation here in the USA and the world to increase police powers on we the people, and bomb and murder people and destroy the towns and cities and infrastructure. Iraq, Afghanistan, and numerous countries after that. Even the Ukraine, I guess, president was assisted to be overthrown because Russia was not cooperating, according to what they tell us people, or what researchers have discovered. Is that the truth? Why did they cause all that turmoil in the Ukraine? Egypt, and many other places in the world. Look at Venezuela. Go look up the pictures on Yahoo image site. You know, Venezuela has more oil and gold and other natural resources, pretty much more than any other country in the world. More gold than the United States, more oil than the Middle East. But the people are starving. Doesn't that seem bizarre? Same thing with Africa, in the diamond mines. The people are treated like slaves and even killed. So they're bringing us this new age and new world order, something called biodiversity, sustainability, Agenda 21. And they're trying to take down all the borders all over the world and bring us this global governance. And they got movies like Hunger Games, Divergent. They're showing us what they're doing. You got TV programming, Lucifer, Gotham, Modern Family. They're showing us what they're doing. And we got hurricanes and unheard of situations striking Texas and Florida, Costa Rica, Puerto Rico. Meanwhile, raging forest fires, so they tell us, are burning in Northern California. It's a funny thing about those pictures. If you go on YouTube and watch some videos or look for some pictures, they say it was forest fires striking conveniently 7 or 8 different cities, towns, where they had planned project developments coming on, more efficient communities, or whatever. And if you look at the pictures, the houses on the streets are incinerated, but in between the houses and on both sides of the streets where there might even be forest, nothing is burned. Why did they call it a forest fire? A lot of videos are claiming they did it with direct energy weapons. The hurricanes in Texas and Florida, etc., and many other situations around the world. China, Russia are even accusing certain powers that be of weather control. So what's that got to do with Voices from the Cosmos and a lot of other videos I've been making and a lot of research I've been researching? And you know, these books are published. You can go buy them. It's physical. You can put it in your hands. Not making this up. I'm going to read from this book a little bit. And the authors are C.B. Scott Jones, a Ph.D., Angela Smith, a Ph.D. So we're not talking about stupid people here. All these books I go over are written by well-known authors, popular authors, authors with credentials. And to be honest, let's say I've got 200 books so far in my research up to series 160. Like in the David Icke series number, what series number is that? 20, series 20. I've got 4 or 5 of his books. So when I say 200 books in 160 series of book reviews, some of those authors, like Jim Mars, I have 4 of his books. So it accumulates to about 200 books. And about 400 plus videos, over 500 hours, maybe closing in on 600 hours. I've been trying to figure out since 2005, when I had a big 0 birthday, just what the heck is going on in the world. It just dawned on me, being a business consultant, a person who had worked at a major aerospace company for 10 years, that somebody was orchestrating the events in the economy and 911 and so much more. And I wondered, who's doing this and why? I knew nothing. Trust me, I was oblivious. A lot of friends called me a party boy. I was sailing. I was powerboating. I was offshore 10 miles fishing, listening to reggae music, having a good time with friends, living by the beach, traveling. But I had a big 0 birthday, and I decided to go to Costa Rica. And I was sitting at the tiki bar in Jaco Beach. I was the only American, drinking a Presidente beer. And a couple of those other fellers, guys my age or older, people who were engineers, scientists, businessmen, from Argentina, Canada, Holland, Germany, Mexico. There was a consensus is that they felt sorry for we Americans because we did not know what was going on. We didn't know what was going on in the world, period. And from what I've learned so far in my 13 years of research, they were correct. We Americans, as well as many Europeans, don't see the big picture, what's going on. Voices from the cosmos. So I've been making videos on conspiracy theory researchers. So what I do, my book reviews, is I research the researchers. I read books from famous authors, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. And I have made a discovery. Let's say there's 200 books involved in my 160 series, now this one. And some of those series, like Series 61, the Blue Lodge Handbook for the Freemasons, I made 12 2-hour videos. So that's why 160 series on 160 authors, which equals about 200 books, would equal 400 videos, because I made more than one video on certain books. And most certainly I'll make more than one video on this book. And probably the last dozen videos I've made, probably the last 40. I got to go back and make second part 2s and part 3s of those books because it's just so interesting. But anyways, what I have discovered is out of those 200 books, some of them are trying to help us. Just put this as the 0 line here. Positive is this way. They're trying to get the truth out. And the other 50% of those books are trying to deceive us, mislead us. And they always throw a little bit of truth in there, so they got your attention. Then they add a little statement or a tidbit or a fact. So it's leading you the wrong way. And I say 50-50. It could be more of the 160 authors in my series Maybe it's 60% that are misleading us and only 40%. I haven't actually gone through my books and tried to put them in two different stacks and do the exact count. I will do that. But my point is, when I read from these books, I'm telling what I see that they're saying, and I throw in my own 2 cents and tell you what I think. Some of them I agree with. Some of them I disagree with. Some of them, the propaganda and the deception is obvious. Sometimes it's not so obvious. And sometimes just exposing the truth is obvious. But could they and would they write a book exposing the bad entities on this planet, like the Illuminati, the Zionists, the secret societies, the upper echelons of the Freemasons, and other things, so that they could make you believe they were really helping you? But then they throw in some deception. Maybe they'll even put something in their book to convince you that's true, and they may not even know that they're contributing to the deception. So it is a painfully complex thing to do, to try to figure out WTH. What the heck is going on? And I must admit, I thought about this. A lot of men have spent their lives, and women, in vain trying to figure out what the world was all about. There's even jokes about it, and people even talk about it, that you can never figure it out. And that may be true. I may be just another fool out there who's trying to figure it out. But I think I'm doing a fair job of reading the words and sharing my thoughts so that other people can take it from there. And I do appreciate comments that people make and adding to the knowledge base that I have and telling me things I didn't know or books I need to go get and things that I talk about and they say, Rick, I don't agree with that. And they tell me why. Like the Uranta book, the commenter told me that thing transformed her life, showed her that Christianity and Jesus was real. So there you have it. Let me read from this book. And maybe we can figure out what is going on with this. Why did the Vatican, one of the high-level people, say that aliens are not part of the fall of man? They don't have to be preached to. That they didn't do anything wrong. Why are some people saying that the aliens are here to help mankind and out there parked in our outside the planet's atmosphere are gigantic UFOs, motherships, and they've been defending us and helping us all along. And they got gray aliens, they got orbs, and if you go on the websites that record and document UFO and alien sightings, you can see the different descriptions. I do that all the time. I'll try to insert that and updated research in this video. Because if you read the descriptions, you get saucers, you get cigar-shaped orbs, you got gigantic motherships with UFOs coming in and out of them. And you've got reptilian-type creatures and human tall whites or Nordic blondes looking like tall Germans or people from Scotland or something, and gray aliens and other types of creatures. They even say there's insectoids and avians, bird-like creatures. And if you looked at the Egyptian hieroglyphics, you can see these kinds of creatures and characters. Even the hieroglyphics in Mexico, in Peru, all over the world. So what are we talking about? And if these channelers, I've been going over the popular channelers, the psychics, the mediums, and the stuff that they've been saying, apparently communicating to somebody in the beyond, heaven, another dimension, or parked in space using telepathy. What? Or maybe just another building down the street with some alphabet agencies like MI6 or Mossad from Israel or CIA, and maybe they're just mind controlling people, sending information to some dupe who believes they're listening to angels or God or something and sharing it with us in these books. I'm leaving all options open to what the truth is. So let me read from this book a little bit, talk about a few things, maybe look at some pictures, do my normal 2 hours, and see what you think after that. Leave a comment down below. It should be interesting. It was interesting for me to be reading this. I've only read a small portion. Crazy information. All right, before I begin, let's look at the book. And if you go on the internet, YouTube, probably other internet sites, you can see videos and lectures and interviews with Dr. Angela Smith. And she comes across very sincere. I mean, you almost want to believe her. When you read the book, you scratch your head and go, what the heck? But on the back of this book, have you ever wondered what it would be like to talk to our cosmic neighbors? The authors did, and found what they have to say is exciting and challenging. In Voices from the Cosmos, Drs. Smith Jones and Angela Smith provide detailed transcripts of remote viewing telepathic interviews with members of 18 extraterrestrial ET races. So if they really are talking to ET races, it might behoove the rest of us to listen to the conversation. But again, I say, can we believe it? Is it information that's truthful, trying to help us? Or is it part of the deception, part of the globalism, the New World Order, the New Age, the gay pride parades, transgenderism, the destruction of Christianity, Islam, and so much more? The forest fires, where the forests are not burned, but all 8 different towns and areas in Northern California are disintegrated. They aren't even burned. And hurricanes are steered. Who's doing that? The terror events, Las Vegas. Shooting yesterday, day before in Texas. Some guy goes into church and shoots 26 people. A young guy. Apparently in the Air Force, court-martialed. And remember, the government has electronic equipment, and even in the drugs and other methods where they can abduct somebody and create something called like a sleeper, you can be programmed. I've gone over this in previous videos. But they got people that can be programmed and not even know they have been programmed, but later on be triggered with keywords, and they will execute an action, kill a bunch of people, whatever. They can even be possessed by remote viewers. According to some of the books I've read, with Tim Rifat, David Morehouse. If you go watch my videos, you'll see that information. But when they leave their body, remember, we are spiritual beings in these biological bodies. So when our spirit leaves these bodies, you can go enter another body and take control of it. And then maybe pick up a gun and shoot a bunch of people and then leave that body. And the poor dupe that did it wouldn't even know what happened. And I'm sure they pick people, if they are doing this, that are plausible candidates for it, that people would say, well, look at this guy's history. He's been acting erratic. His wife left him and all this other stuff. He's been drinking. He's been taking drugs. He looks crazy. So he must have done it. Is it possible? According to my research, it's not only possible, it's happening. It's part of this new technological warfare, this war going on right now. So back to the book. So if these 2 authors are remote viewing, I've gone over books about remote viewers. You can go watch the videos or look up on the internet and watch other information. 18 extraterrestrials. The authors are joined by the ETs in a call for a pre-disclosure dialogue on the anticipated consequences of established contact. So, in a kind of way, you want to believe this. You want to understand the reality. People have been trying to figure out reality since mankind existed. And detailed plan on how this can be accomplished. So it says in this book, certain people on this planet who are in communication with these extraterrestrials are trying to get a detailed plan on how this can be accomplished. Academia at all levels must play a leading role. So we know they control the professors and teachers and the education system and the medical system and the economic system and the political system. And they're using all these forces against we the people. That should be obvious to most people. Don't walk around and think to yourself, man, am I crazy? Is this all just crazy? Am I crazy for thinking it? My suggestion to anybody asking themselves that is no, you're not crazy. You just happen to be intuitive and you're aware and you're picking up on the fact that something is going on. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that the 2016 USA presidential elections, the two choices were Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. And anybody could pick that apart and say, well, that's just ludicrous. That's just crazy. Are you nuts? Donald Trump? Hillary Clinton? Don't you have something better? It's my opinion. All right, so that review was from the University of Missouri, Columbia. Another review on the back of this book. Leo Sprinkle, PhD, Professor Emeritus, Counseling Services, University of Wyoming. In over 50 years of working with ET experiences, I have concluded that the contact event can result in a number of positive outcomes. I considered this book to be one of those positive outcomes. So a lot of smarter people than me are saying these things about this book, written by a couple doctors, PhDs. So should I be reading it? Should I be analyzing what it says? And these other people who are giving it a thumbs up, should I listen to them? Should we listen to them? Or should we just giggle and go, oh, Rick, you can't be talking about UFOs and aliens? That just proves you're crazy. Is that what people should say? That's what they say on a lot of the comments I make on press releases. And then when I try to counter back when somebody says something derogatory or really nasty about my comment, the reply button won't work, and it says it's disabled at the moment, or can't communicate at the moment, or it's broken. They won't let me comment to the commenters of my comments. And on my YouTube videos, advertiser non-friendly, they won't monetize my videos. Not that I've even made 10 cents. I haven't. So I do believe it's a one-sided information war, which makes me think that some of these books are suspect also. But the best I can do is read them and try to use my God-given brain and figure it out. That's all we can do. But these people who control our world don't think that most of we the people have the intellectual curiosity it takes, or the motivation, or the patience, or the intelligence to inquire into this stuff and try to figure it out. And I will say this, when I do these videos, and I've certainly done a lot of hours, and I do misspeak, and sometimes it's a huge misspeak. When I say that I believe this, I meant to say, I don't believe this, and I read it later on, or listen to myself, I go, why did I make that silly blunder? So people have noticed some things I've said, and I make a comment back to the comments on my videos and I say, no, I would have never said that Lucifer is the good guy. I don't think that. I know the Theophist societies with Helena Blavatsky, Albert Pike, Morals and Dogma, the Freemasons, and so many more. Their deity, one of them, that they worship is Lucifer. So I would certainly not have him being on the positive side of things, even though there's a big painting of Lucifer in the basement of the Vatican, and all these satanic rituals all over the world. So you have to pay attention that this can be stressful and the mind works in a funny way, and when you're doing 2 straight hours, you can make a misspeak. That's normal. But some people don't want to give you the patience or be considerate or understanding. They just want to lash out. And that's not what we need. And I have to remind myself, too, when other people say silly things or nasty things, I have to try to be forgiving myself and just go, oh, well, what are you going to do? They've been brainwashed. So Doctors Jones and Smith have drawn from a lifetime of contact and moved into a rich, largely unexplored area of research. And I did think I was a little crazy back there half a year ago. More than that now. When I said to myself, well, who are these channelers, these people that are popular on the internet? Esther Hicks channeling Abraham. Then I found out about Jane Roberts channeling Seth. Lee Carroll channeling Cryon. And so many more. The Raw Material. Edgar Casey. And a lot of the other books I did. Looking at my bookcase if I can see the titles. Even major trends in Jewish mysticism. What is their magic, their Kabbalah, the sorcery, the magicians, the magi? What are they into? Does it have everything to do with communicating with other types of beings? Messengers of deception? Is that what the UFO alien thing is all about? That would be series number 121. The Raw Material is series 122. Jane Roberts, The Unknown Reality, series 125. Manifest Your Desires, Esther Hicks, 126. And then, of course, I did the Uranta Material, The Voice of Orion by that author. And so many others, we'll look at them. And then David Wilcock, Corey Good on Ascension and the stuff going in Antarctica. Pole shifting, Nibiru, Anunnaki aliens. What are we talking about? Fair enough to ask that question. So again, back to the back of this book. Direct communication and dialogue with sentient life in the cosmos that is complex, ancient, and apparently waiting for the opportunity to tell their stories. The huge bonus of this book is the unfiltered voices from the cosmos. Listen to them. They are willing to share. Here's the back of the book. I'll hold a picture up of the 2 authors. You can pause your thing and read it, so I don't have to read it. I am suffering from a slight cold, so if I sound a little different, that's why. Alright, so what I'm going to start out here is page 141. And you can see that what I read, I highlight stuff. I'm not trying to do an audiobook. Give credit where credit is due. You can go find this book. But please remember, just because you can go buy it or watch her videos, you don't have to believe it. It takes a lot of work and research to try to decide what's correct. You don't have to discount it. You don't have to believe it. You have to remember that 50% or more is deception, propaganda, with an agenda, and apparently part of that agenda is communism, world governments, reducing the quality of life for the slave class, with the elites being at the top, like the Hunger Games movie. Apparently, this has been a long-sought goal for many other empires in the past. You gotta use your brain. Page 141, Talking with Angels. So apparently these remote viewers, these psychics, these mediums, these channelers, would speak to, communicate with, I guess almost like dialing up a phone and talking to somebody you want to talk to. These different beings, and a couple of them that I've read about in this book are the grays, gray aliens, the oranges, which are apparently some kind of cousins to the gray aliens, so I suspect they look a little bit like gray aliens, those E.T. characters. And apparently the oranges, there are some of them on Earth. They've been here all along, so they say in this book. And they live underground and they do mining. And they go wherever they're sent in the galaxy, in the universe. And they are into mining. That's all they like to do. And apparently other entities give them information and food and stuff in return for them mining minerals that these other entities all over the galaxy might need, or the universe. Oranges, cousins to the grays. So I don't know if it's just a gray alien that's orange. It says, according to one of that question in this book, the orange said we're kind of the color of clay in the ground, dirt. We'll get to that. But right now we're going to. I read about talking to orbs, questions and answers to the orbs, which are orbs of light. Just seeing if I got something here that could be a good example. Some kind of glowing thing, almost like a light bulb, but they have color. Like this is orange, and it's an orb. And I believe I've got pictures. I saw several orbs in the sky once. If they're in the sky, they're like this is a orange crystal, and they glow. And if you look up on MUFON, the reporting site for UFOs and aliens, you will see even currently, like I said in this video, when I take a break, I'll go online and check on MUFON and get the last month's UFO sightings, and I suspect there'll be some orbs in there, and they're white orbs, or they're red orbs or orange orbs, like that. They glow in the sky. Apparently, they're entities with intelligence, and their job is they carry information from one party to another. In the book here, it suggests they might be something called elementals, or even thought forms, which are mentioned in the Kabbalah or the Theosophist Society, Rosicrucian, and all those books on hermetics and everything. Some kind of witchcraft, metaphysics, elementals. So anyways, orbs. I was reading about the communication with orbs. Gray aliens, and apparently another flavor cousin to the grays, the oranges. And I've been reading about in this book the communication with some angels. Sorry to take the long road to China here. It's a fascinating conversation, and maybe we'll put some perspective and a spin on all this other stuff I've been talking about. Maybe give us some kind of reasoning to kind of ponder and come up with a solution of why they're doing what they're doing. If they did use directed energy weapons on those small towns, 8 of them or whatever, in California, to blame it on forest fires for some kind of purpose, redevelopment, And California used to have a lot of gold. So who knows with satellite systems? Could there be something under the ground? Like the oranges mining for something. Because a lot of people have heard things in the ground, vibrations and sounds. That's been going on all over the planet. If you've been any kind of a curious researcher and paying attention to YouTube and stuff like that, you've heard about that. Just theorizing on some of this stuff. Why did they do that if they did it with directed energy weapons? And I also thought of another reason why they could do it. It could be a show of force. We know there's a kind of a battle going on in our world right now. Even President Donald Trump sent Tillerson, Secretary of State, I think he is, to Saudi Arabia and Iraq, trying to get them to team up and work towards, I guess, destroying Iran. And we know that Israel, according to Prime Minister Sharon of Israel many years ago, in a heated argument in his Congress, and his other members of his Congress, they call it Parliament, I think, said, we can't keep killing the Palestinian people and taking their land. The U.S. will do something. And Mr. Sharon, Prime Minister Sharon, that would be like our president, said, don't worry about the USA. We control the USA, and the Americans know it. So if the Zionist, Illuminati, secret societies, Israelis control the USA, the money, we know they took over the Federal Reserve in 1913. They control our money. They control the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, according to my research and many others. So they are by proxy using the Pentagon, the USA, and Europe to attack Iraq and Afghanistan and all those countries after 9/11. And now that they have control of those countries, and Tillerson just went there at the sent by President Donald Trump, according to the press releases that I've read and made comments on and downloaded to my computer and saved. Tillerson's over there with Iraq and Saudi Arabia, coming up with a war plan, battle plan, or whatever plan against Iran. And of course, Israel's been bad-mouthing, trying to see Iran destroyed for a long time. So all this stuff makes sense if you understand what's going on. So what's it have to do with talking with angels and directed energy weapons destroying properties in California and aiming hurricanes at Texas and Florida and creating all these Las Vegas and other kinds of shootings and stuff going on in this country? Threats of economic destruction. Fabricating global warming, even in the news press release the other day. You can look this stuff up. But the federal government released a report that apparently, of course it was controlled by scientists that they employed, that said that, and confirmed, that humans are responsible for global warming. And we know since the early 60s and 70s, and apparently way beyond that, these elites, powers that be, have been desirous to reduce the Earth population by a huge number. So again, what's it have to do with aliens that have been living on this planet all along, and according to this material, are in communication with our political leaders? Specific questions for the angels. This current race, the angels, has been called several different names by other races. So remember, these two PhD doctors have been doing remote viewing or channeling or mediums or psychic communication, and have talked to many different beings and have been documenting that, so they say, for quite a while. So apparently these other aliens or entities or beings call the angels some other names. Some also call them the lights or the smooths. So I've seen pictures of UFOs and aliens, and some of the UFOs and aliens just look like glowing shapes, like a human being that's just a glowing light, but in the shape of a human being. Or even a glowing ship. We'll look at that. But I do not think we can confuse them with the angels of human history. And I do have a sore throat and a small cold, so bear with me. And mythology. So we know the Bible talks about angels, all kinds of beings in mythology. And even I've been going over the Book of Enoch, the Dead Sea Scrolls, Helena Blavatsky's material, The Secret Doctrine, Isis Unveiled, Jewish mysticism, the Kabbalah. So what is magic? What is the occult? And I suspect it has everything to do with what I'm about to read. I have chosen to retain the name of the angels for this interview. So apparently these people who wrote this book, the authors, are going to call these people angels, although other races have called them lights or smooths. Question: who are the angels? And where do they fit into the scheme of other races? And apparently they're communicating with an angel. The angel says, and I'll just, in the future, just say angel. Angels are a gentle race of people who are intermingling with humans for a long, long time. A gentle race of people. So that statement was a little suspect to me. Remember, if I went over the Book of Enoch and the cast out angels, fallen angels, who found the women on earth fair, had sex with them, and according to the Bible, it created some kind of hybrid offspring. Nephilim had sex and created Nephilim and what's that other name? Get embarrassed when I forget. Nephilim and I'll keep reading. There were giants anyways. And the fallen angels were called Nephilim, and the offspring were called giants. And there's some other names. Watchers, archons, fallen angels, and the others. The story seems to have been twisted a little bit too to be the Anunnaki with planet Nibiru that's coming, that's supposed to cause a pole shift. Apparently these Anunnaki beings found the women fair on earth and had children with them, which are some hybrid beings. What are we to believe? Okay, so the angel says we are a gentle race of people who have intermingled with humans for a long, long time. Question: are you what humans call angels? The angel says, yes. Question: you have referred to yourself as a people rather than a race. Why is this? Angel: we call ourselves a people because we are closest to humans than any other race. We consider ourselves a people. We fit in with the other races on a peripheral level. We do not act with the Greys or Nordics. The Nordics are some human-looking type creatures, whether they look like really tall, good-looking blonde men and women. Nordics. We do not act with the Greys or Nordics, except to travel with them, sometimes on their craft. Question: what is the main purpose and intent of angels? Do you have a group mind like the Greys? Angels: our purpose is to guide, to impart knowledge, to help and to direct. The intent is to provide humans with mental maps of how to become better humans. We have a group mind like some of the other races, but on a different level. We can also interact on a mental level with many of the other races. Well, this particular angel just seems like he's coming across like a really nice guy. Or girl. Male or female, I don't know what the angel is. How do angels benefit from interacting and guiding humans? The angel says, there is no benefit except that we guide and help. It is what we do. Humans always have to have something back for what they do. We do not have to have something back. So the angel's reporting that humans always have to have something back for what they do. Well, I can tell you, I've been making these videos for 4 years and researching for 13 years, and I've gotten nothing back from anybody, except for some nice comments. So I've done a lot of good things in my life. I think a lot of us have. So I'm not so sure I believe this statement either. A lot of people have done a lot of things and not wanted anything in return. Question, how do angels work with the Nordics, the Greys, or the Orbs, or any other race? Remember, I talked about orbs, these lights apparently that can telepathically communicate with people. So apparently all you got to do is look up in the sky and call the orbs. And I get these emails from Stephen Greer on the Serious Disclosure Project. And he takes people out to the beach or other places, and apparently they all start saying mantras, incantations, repeating it like a prayer, and these orbs appear. You can go to one of Stephen Greer's events. It costs a few dollars whenever they're having them. You go to his website, subscribe, you'll get the emails also. Angels. We work with other races to access the location of humans. So the angels are working with other races to access the location of humans. Page 142. We work with many humans, but not all humans. We interact with the orbs to access information, and we can send the orbs with information. We can send orbs as scouts and see where humans are. So apparently these Greys or reptilians or angels or other entities can take these orbs and send them looking for humans and send information. Find humans. It's not me saying that, I just read it. We interact with the orbs to access information, and we send the orbs with information. We can send orbs to scout and see where humans are. Page 142. It's what it says. Question. Is there a central being, a universal source, which we refer to as God? Angel says, yes, there is an central intelligence, but it is everywhere. This intelligence is all-knowing, all-seeing, all-acting, is forever and does not fade. Well, we know all these people in the Illuminati are doing the all-seeing eye thing. The all-seeing eye is on the US $1 bill, and the all-seeing eye is on the Egyptian hieroglyphics, and even the all-seeing eye was on the stone that Eric Vandanovich found in a cave in Ecuador. What should we know? What do we not know? Moving on here. Have you ever seen or interacted with God? The angel says, we have never seen God, but we have interacted with God. Question. What was that interaction like? The angel says, it was not like anything. It was unique. There was total acceptance, total care, and total peace. There was total light, an absence of dark. Everything was clear and shiny. Wow. Question. Was this total light God? The angel says, no, this was where God was. We have not seen God. If you look at my videos on the book of Enoch, apparently Enoch, when he gets taken up to heaven, he describes heaven. It's quite interesting. Apparently, when he finally sees God, it looks like a flowing wall of water. Seen those fake walls of water where it's coming down? And I thought of that when I was reading the Book of Enoch. Question: are the elementals? Now, these are mentioned in the Theosophist Society. Stuff like Alice Bailey, Annie Besant, who were producing the Lucifer magazine from the Lucifer Publishing Company, and whose theology, the Theosophist Society, is like the Kabbalah, or the Information and Morals and Dogma, or the Rosicrucians, or all these other secret societies. FYI. I've read enough books I can remember a little bit. That's why I read this stuff in such detail. I'm going to remember this stuff. When I read other books, it'll help make more sense. Are the elementals a manifestation of what we call God? Angel says, all races are an expression of God. The elementals and the orbs and the angels are closest to the expression of God. So those glowing orbs that people see, that you can go look up on MUFON, are the closest expressions of God, as well as the elementals and these angels. Question: is the Confederation God? So apparently with all these beings out there in the galaxy, a lot of them have united, and they call it a confederation. And in other books I've gone over and I've talked about a galactic federation. So I thought that was curious. There were two different names. One is a confederation, and one is a galactic federation. And I thought about the Civil War, where you had the federal government in the north and the Confederates. I think of things when I read. The angels said, no, the Confederation is not God. So apparently out there in space, wherever, all these other alien beings have formed a confederation, and not everybody has been asked to join. Not all different races are members. And apparently, so far, the human race has not been asked to join. We haven't advanced far enough, according to what they would have you believe in this book that I've been reading. And again, I'm not trying to preach this stuff as stuff that I believe is true. I'm having an open mind here and listen to what they're saying. And if I have a problem with something, as you have heard in this video, then I'll say what I think and why I agree or disagree. There may be some truth in this stuff. But of course, with the fallen angels, the watchers, the archons, mating with women, creating giants, and then God has to destroy the planet with a great flood because of all these beasts. Question: the other races have talked about the other races, such as the darks and the greens. That doesn't sound good. They're calling some beings the darks. I don't know what the greens are. I haven't read too much about them yet. The propers and the roughs. Wow, calling some creatures roughs. Thinking of some of those sci-fi TV programs I've been watching. Are there other races that are interacting with humans that we need to contact? The angel says, there are many other races that are interacting with humans. Humans are just discovering multi-dimensions outside the common dimension, which is the earth dimension. So we're in the earth dimension. I'm agreeing with that. There are other dimensions. I'm agreeing with that. In the Bible, it talks about heaven, this other world, and the angels cast out into something like hell or somewhere. Just call it another dimension. There are multitudes of these dimensions where other races are available to talk to. Most are very earth-like, and the people very human-like, but there are differences. Question: Are there dimensions that are mirrors of Earth? Alternative dimensions? Angel says, not exactly of Earth. There are no mirror of peoples that exist on Earth today, but they are very similar. Question. So someone doing a kind act on Earth would not have a mirror person in another dimension doing a kind act or an unkind act? And the angel says, no. Question. Can we call on and interact with these other dimensions? The angel says, yes. Just ask them. So you can communicate with these angels just by asking. And Jesus says in the Bible, test the spirits. You can't trust them. Again, could be some people, spirits, beings, who want to help mankind or help you or me. And there may be ones that are deceivers. I think most people can believe that from what we're seeing in the world right now. I always wonder about that TV program, Lucifer, trying to paint him as such a nice guy. If you haven't watched it, I think it's on Monday nights. Just watch a couple episodes or go on YouTube or Netflix or find some historic episodes. I watch it just so I can also report. It's like Gotham. I hate Gotham. It's too gruesome. But every time a new season comes, I got to watch one or two so that I can kind of get an idea of what's going on. And it just gets more gruesome and more gruesome. I do not suggest watching them. I don't think it could be healthy watching a TV program with that kind of gruesomeness, if gruesomeness is a word. But I think you'll understand. So you just ask them if you want to communicate with angels. Question. What percentage of humans is interacting telepathically with non-human races? The angel says most humans have some telepathic ability. And I believe that. Most have just a little ability. And I believe they have a little ability because they don't believe they have an ability or they don't try using it and study. Everyone is born with this ability, but some maintain this to adulthood. It is a vital ability for an infant to have. So apparently babies have this telecommunication and create with the other side up until a certain point. I've read that before. It is a survival ability. As people age, they do not need it and it atrophies. So if you don't use it, you lose it. Some humans who are born with a strong ability and who go through adversity in childhood retain more of this ability. It is for survival. So I am also aware during the 1960s, plus or minus, that the powers that be were scouring the school systems, looking for people with psychic abilities. Remember, 1840 to 1940, the Psychic Research Society of Europe, and then later the Psychic Research Society of the United States, America, were studying psychic abilities intensely. 1840 to 1940, just prior to World War II. After that, it seems to have disappeared from the mainstream thought in America. They used to have magazines and books, and everybody was looking and thinking about it, talking about it, going to seances, seeing a psychic, etc. Why did they make that whole thought process or knowledge go away? I suspect there's a reason. Question. Why are other races at this specific location? I haven't looked this up yet. Told you I have a cold here. My throat is hurting. I got some lemon water. Skinwalker Ranch. So I need to go look up Skinwalker Ranch. So if you know anything about it, if you're any kind of an expert on it, leave a comment down below. Angels. Another race that was present at the ranch was a being we call the Father being. So a lot of aliens apparently out west go to this Skinwalker Ranch. And the reason is because there used to be some beings there, or a being called a father being. Question, what is the father being? The angel says, it is an ancient race that lives in natural elements, like stones. So these ancient entities, spiritual beings, were living in stones. Living entities such as trees. It is slow, ancient, wise, and can be accessed, but it is very difficult to understand and interpret. Just reading what's in the book here. Question, is there a similar mother being? We hear a lot about Mother Earth right now, and Mother Earth is angry because we humans have spoiled the planet, and she's lashing out with this climate change and bent on destroying us. And all her secret society members want to enforce some kind of program of depopulation because we humans are messing with Mother Nature, throwing our trash all over the place. This is part of the propaganda they feed us these days. Go read some New Age books or watch some metaphysical videos and material. Okay. Is there a similar mother being? Angel says, yes, in the sky. It is also difficult to comprehend the mother being because her communications are difficult to catch and know. Question. Why and how do these races interfere with humanity? Well, that's a good question. How and why do these races interfere with humanity? The angel says, the only races that interfere with humans are those that collect humans for hybrid and other purposes. So apparently there are some races out there collecting people, got plenty of books on UFOs and aliens, that are collecting, abducting, capturing humans for hybrid and other purposes. I read that and I said, oh my. That's what it says in a lot of these books over here. Got 100 books there. Question, would the angels' interactions with humans be seen as interfering? The angel says, no, we help and guide humans. We do not interfere. Then I'm thinking about the book of Enoch again, and other material I've gone over. Fallen angels, Archon, Nephilim, Elohim, that's the word I was trying to think about earlier. The Elohim, I think, are the fallen angels. When they mated with humans and created the giants, they were called Nephilim, or vice versa. Sometimes you get some of these words mixed up. Question, do angels understand the concept of free will? The angel says, yes, we help and guide, but the human does not have to follow what we say. Question, are there other locations where angels are either working alone or with other races? The angel says, angels are everywhere. There are humans. So I guess wherever you have a human, you have angels around. And if you want to talk to them, all you got to do is ask. According to this book. Question, do angels also work with hybrids that have a high percentage of human DNA in them? I added the word DNA so you get the point. So these races are abducting humans and creating hybrids. Do angels also work with hybrids that have a high percentage of human in them? The angel says, yes. Question, were the entities that my brother and I encountered in Dorset in the 1960s angels? So I didn't know nothing about Angela Smith or Scott Jones doctor, having an interaction with beings, but a lot of people have, and you can go look up on MUFON or get UFO books. A lot of material out there on abductions and movies and all that stuff. And remember, who controls Hollywood? So what are they trying to message are they trying to send to us? What are they trying to make us think? Are they telling us the truth? I suspect there's a lot of deception going on. And the angel says that they were messed with in Dorset. And the guy says, I do not remember that. So we'll see if I lost my place here. Were the entities that my brother and I encountered in Dorset in the 1960s angels? The angel says, yes, we were the beings that you saw after you saw the light. We came because you and your brother were talking about angels. And the questionnaire says, I do not remember that. And the angel says, you asked each other if angels exist. We came to show you that we did. Question. My brother saw a craft first, before the beings came into the house. Did you come by the way of the craft, or do you have wings and can fly? Do you have wings and can fly, or did you come by a craft? The angel says, yes, we came as it was the quickest way to come. We do not fly, we do not have wings. The questionnaire says, can you bilocate like the Nordics? So apparently there's these beings that can just think it and disappear from one spot and pop into another spot. What's bilocate? The angel says, no, we cannot bilocate, but we can transpose. So what's the difference between transposing and bilocating? Questionnaire says, what does that mean? The angel says, it is a way to get from one place to another with the original body. Nordics can send a copy ahead. We can send the original body through transposing. Transposing takes energy and time, so we are often carried by the craft. The craft were coming to that location, so we transposed to the craft and came to your location. So apparently these angels hitched a ride with some other aliens coming here. Question. Were the Greys there to collect my brother and me for their purposes? So apparently the Greys abduct humans to create hybrid beings and other purposes. Let's hope it's not food or slaves. But it is hybrids. And I wonder if they make the hybrids by mating with them or like Frankenstein's, cutting them up and sewing them back together with some kind of technologies. Robotics. Borg. Again, there goes my brain thinking. The angel says, yes, but we spoke with you first. Then they took you to the craft for their purposes. We transposed everywhere when that happened, so we did not have any knowledge of the Greys' work and what they do. Question. What did we talk about? The angel says, we talked about the reality of angels. We talked about the future role of humans. We talked about certain humans that have roles to play in human history. We talked about how some humans are successful in this and others are not. Questionnaire says, did we talk so we could hear each other or with our minds? The angel says, with the mind only. Question, was there important information given to us? The angel says, there was important information shared, but you have to remember most of it already. But you have remembered most of it already. Question, I do not remember specifics. The angel says, you have already remembered it and use it in your everyday life. Questionnaire says, were we told anything about the future? The angel says, yes, you were told about the future, how you would live in many places and meet many people. Not to be surprised when others recognized you and you did not recognize them. That you and your brother would retain many of your abilities. Question: were we told anything about the future of Earth? Angels: no, just about yourselves, but you can ask. Question: do angels have the ability to access information about the future? The angel says, in some respects, but we have to ask too. Wow. Questionnaire says, who do you ask? The angel says, the record keepers. And the questionnaire says, who are the record keepers? The angel says, they are a form of elemental that keeps the records. So apparently Edgar Casey was communicating with the Akashic records. Not that he said that, or maybe he did, I don't remember. But I do remember reading some other channeled material like the Ra material. And this Ra character said that's who Edgar Casey was getting, where he was getting his information from, the Akashic records. Something like a hall of records. So here they're saying it's a form of elemental that keeps records. So the questionnaire says, so the elementals can tell us what will happen in the future. The angel says, only some of them. The record keepers, the one that you spoke to before, was not a record keeper. Questionnaire: why would that elemental not refer me to the record keepers? The angel says, because they did not know. Well, I thought I'd take a break from reading from the book. And I have made numerous videos on the UFO alien subject. Everything from Whitley Strieber to Richard Dolan, the Nightcap magazines, etc. So if you go through my videos, you can find a list of them on the rickmiracle.com website. I'll find another way to post them in my YouTube About Me page on my YouTube account, Rick Miracle, so you can have an easy access list to look at. So I've been doing the videos for 4 years and doing my research for 13 years, and I've got about 1,000 books in this room and more books in storage. And I have 4 shoeboxes of pictures. Shoebox about that long, got 4 of them. And I have them sorted by conspiracy organizations, Freemasons, Rosicrucians, Kabbalists, and then another one sorted by beings, Moloch, Marduk, aliens. So 2 shoeboxes, one about secret societies and one about different kinds of beings. And I have another shoebox of just a warfare against humanity, chemtrailing, HARP systems, all kinds of weapons and symbolism and all that stuff. Witches, symbols, everything. So I'm trying to get organized better than I have been. And it takes a while to stop and regress and go over everything. But anyways, here's some pictures, and you can see the labels. We're going to look at some of the pictures, but just so I can't show you all of them. But I can kind of look at them. If you can bear with me, I can see how they face up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read from the title, like this says miscellaneous aliens, and I'm going to try to put them back over on my right here so I don't get all goofed up. And the miscellaneum stack is about this thick. So let's just look at a few. Talks about Pleiades, the Soul Star, Taurus, and the Gobekli Tepe, whatever that is. So over the years I've been doing this research, and I got these pictures you can find on Yahoo image sites where I got most of them. So these are my miscellaneous, and as most of us know, there's monuments all over the planet. Stars, stones, and scholars. Looks like I'm interfering with the light here. So we already know there's monuments everywhere. Stonehenge, other stone monuments. We know there's crop circles, apparently communication with something. Apparently that crop circle seems to have the effect like the eye. Decipherment and some etchings on a horse's rib bone, some kind of etchings and drawings like maps. Looks like it could be a constellation. Again, monuments, Avebury. Let's see if I can stop this thing from interfering with the light. And apparently, somebody here is connecting locations in the Middle East with the constellations. So I've got a long ways to go in my research. And strange buildings all over the planet. Is that a Mormon church? What's going on? What are they up to? What do they know we don't know? And I didn't preview these pictures recently, so I'm going with the flow as I talk in this video. A lot of people know about Stonehenge and other megalithics around the world. Here's a cave with a lamp, some ancient lamp and monument. So I guess if there's anything we can agree on, there have been some kind of entities or intelligence on Earth before the Great Flood. There are monuments all over the planet. I'll agree with this stuff. And for some reason they're into the cosmos. And it has something to do with a religion or a belief. Even TV program like Battlestar Galactica. They seem to use these symbols or emblems. Even on Star Trek they do with his shirt there. Keep calm and prepare for UFO disclosure. So there's all kinds of videos out there you can watch that I have watched. And apparently Billy Myers, I remember these pictures, over there in Europe, next to Switzerland or in Switzerland, near Germany, had this being who was apparently a Palladian come visit him, and he took these pictures. True or not? So again, you can go on Yahoo image site, find pictures and find links. But again, I must give people a caution. You can't believe everything. There is a deception going on. There may be some truth in some of this stuff. Here's Billy Myers. He's pretty famous in the UFO circuit. And apparently he took pictures when the Palladians contacted him. He says he has proof because that saucer's in front of the tree. So I guess this beautiful woman went to meet Billy Myers and communicate with him. We all know the crop circles exist. Like I said, I've been researching everything. leaving no stone unturned, trying to leave no book unread. But you know, if it took me 13 years to get here, and I've read 300 books maybe, I made videos on 200 books, and if I have 1,000 books in this room, I could be busy for a few more years. You think? Jim Mars, I've gone over his material. He's on InfoWars, probably talking about headline lately have grabbed attention about the possibility of extraterrestrial life, and even the Vatican is preparing us to meet our space brothers. So this stuff's in the news. That's why I'm talking about it. What are we to believe? What does it have to do if they're using directed energy weapons in California, which it looks like, according to my brain, watching the pictures, seeing rows and rows of houses disintegrated, but the forest on both sides are not burnt at all, and trees in the middle. Go watch some of the other people's videos, and please leave a comment if you think there's something not right about it. It's not a forest fire. It doesn't look like a regular house. You ever seen a house burn down? Usually half of the house is still left up. Firefighters put it out. But these things are disintegrated. Okay, even the Pope is involved in this. I'll see you in Philadelphia when he came to America. Apparently the Vatican has a telescope in Arizona called Lucifer. When I talk about these things, I suspect, I would expect that people would do what I do and go get a notebook and take notes and go look up stuff. That's the biggest problem I got with humans. I don't know what the angels have in this book, why they're saying all the negative things. But I think people, other people besides me and the people who are looking into it, more people need to look into this stuff. Who are these beings? Is that a tall white? Is that a Nordic? Is that a Palladian? Is that a shapeshifter? Who is it? Where do they come from? What kind of beings might be out there? Remember the movie Avatar? Is this an indigo person? Why are indigo people popping up? You seem to be some kind of spiritual people. What kind of beings are out there? What kind of beings are we? What are we capable of? They say stars are entities. Is that the Pleiades? So you can see in my 13 years and 4 years of making videos, I've collected all these pictures and went to the pharmacy all the time, reading different books, making videos, and I've got a lot of these picture shows in a lot of my previous videos. A lot of this stuff seems to deal with men and women and sex. Remember, the fallen angels, the Watchers, even the Anunnaki aliens, are supposed to have mated with humans and created hybrid beings or monsters, giants. And apparently that's why God had the big flood, whoever God is, and destroyed the planet, because the whole DNA pool was full of monsters. Not the humans that God had designed, whoever God is. What are these spiritual beings called elementals? Who are the orbs? Who are the Palladians? Who are the angels? Who are the oranges? Who are the grays? Billy Myers and his story. Many videos on YouTube you can watch. So how many of them are there? Do they have a group mind? What is heaven like? Who comes up with the concept for these pictures? What about Jesus? What about the masters? Muhammad and other beings out there? Who are they? Who are they? Who are they? Why do the archons or the watchers or the fallen angels have wings? Why does apparently Lucifer have wings if you see pictures of him? Just interesting pictures at these sites. What's going on with vibrations and colors and symbols? Do they affect us? I think they do. Apparently a lot of strange people being born. Is this one of them? Again, I found these pictures at the different Yahoo image site, whether it was Palladians or aliens or Orions or oranges or tall whites or Nordics. Apparently, people have spotted vehicles in the sky beaming up water. People who have been abducted said they were beamed up to a craft. What does it have to do with the serpent? Billy Myers and his vehicle. All right, what does this say? So it has something to do with locations in the sky, astrology, hieroglyphics in Egypt, monuments on the ground, crop circles, precession of the equinox, solstices. Apparently these are calendars and maps of the earth and calendars of time. Things that I've researched over the years. You can watch this video and see what I was talking about when I did this research. The Sirius cycle, the great year of the blazing binary star. So what is planet Nibiru, also called Nemesis, also called the Destroyer, Wormwood in the Bible? Is there a binary star that interacts with this star? Or is it all some kind of allegory? Some kind of metaphor? Symbolism? What is real? I think people need to ask them that. According to that book I've been going over, all you got to do is ask the angels questions or call on the orbs and ask them questions to get knowledge. Be careful, though, because apparently a lot of unclean spirits or demons out there, even in the Bible, people were possessed by spirits. And again, I'm suggesting in some of these Terra events, there may be entities taking control of these people's bodies, causing these shootings or things they're doing. Because you see these people later on, like with the Batman shooting and some of these other ones, they look like they're mentally challenged or zombies. They say they don't remember anything. And a lot of them are usually shot right on the scene. So they can't talk. Look at President John Kennedy's assassin, how Ruby killed him before he could talk. And so many more. What are these beings? Why do they talk about ascension and abundance? Are they malevolent or are they benevolent? Are some of them good in caring about us, and are some of them selfish and detrimental and actually eat humans or destroy them or enslave them? Who were the beings with the elongated skulls? Why do the pyramids in Egypt have tunnels that aim at certain stars? A lot of people know this stuff. Why does this Palladian look like that? She seems well endowed on the top. That might make a few human males a little giddy. What would you do if this lady got off a spaceship and said, "Come on my ship with me"? Is she a shapeshifter and really looks like a giant reptoid monster? This is what you see? Is it all a delusion, a deception, an illusion? And people out there have drawn sketches of what they have seen. Drawn sketches. Again, these pictures were on Yahoo image website, and there are links to each picture, where it came from. There are that many internet sites out there detailing this stuff. And I suspect that's why their government, the secret governments, are on a fast track accelerating the activities on Earth, terror events, hurricanes, weather control, droughts, floods, and the censorship. Even more talk about since that school shooting in Texas, 26 people killed at a church. This is November 6, 2017. About gun control. Why do they want to disarm us? And what happened in the past when they disarmed Germans, Russians, Chinese, etc.? Millions were slaughtered. What does it say on the USA Georgia Guidestones? They want a population, world population, of 500 million. Does that mean that these entities, whoever they might be, are a little worried that there's too many people on the planet, but they have to keep enough on the planet because maybe people are their food or something? Or like the Watchers or the Anunnaki, they like to have sex with humans. Maybe they don't have a preference with sex. They don't care if they have sex with male or female. I suppose you ought to be a little careful who you might meet up with somewhere and go in somebody's car with them. You might be being picked up by one of these creatures. Find yourself in a dark place. The symbolism is documented throughout history. I think this is the Maitreya character on the recent book review 159, Some Ancient Religion. Look at the guy with the wings and the tools in his hand and the snake around his body and the lion's head, the caducer by his feet. What kind of underwater being is this with the elongated head talking to dolphins? I hope my videos are raising consciousness out there. Apparently, waking up is the key. I don't think these entities are out there to do beneficial things. If they are behind and in cahoots with some governmental agencies, elites in the background ruling the planet, taking directed energy weapons at California, and they have some crazy and sinister weapons they've developed. You can go on the military websites and check into some of this stuff. Watch videos. A lot of people have done a lot of good work exposing this. Why does this guy kind of look like Obama? Who is Osiris, Isis, Horus? What's it got to do with the sky? So when I read these books, I'm not without knowledge. I've been reading and I retain a lot of I have an interesting memory, a lot of people tell me. I remember sentences I've said to people 5, 10 years ago. So who is the Galactic Federation? Is this one of the leaders? What's with the crown on his head? And the Maltese emblem on his chest? That would be the Knights of Malta, Knights of Columbus. Even the Queen of England has that symbol on her. And the six-pointed star, which is on the flag of Israel. Do you see there's something similar here? You can connect the dots here. Seems like we humans are being kept in the dark. An image of Ashtaroth. So look at the symbol on his head with the six-pointed star like on the Israeli flag with a circle around it. A lot of the witches' symbols have a five-pointed star with a circle around it. Has magical powers. Is that power to communicate with other beings? I did tell the story about some some hikers going off into the woods and came upon this ledge up a hill or on top of a mountain and looked down below and saw what appeared to be witches in a circle, which is what they do, doing some kind of ritual, which is what they do. And in the middle of them appeared this reptilian being out of nowhere. And the people on the hill, on the top, this is part of my research stuff I remember, were startled, some adults and some kids. And they looked down in the valley and saw these witches in a circle doing incantations. And this reptilian being appearing in thin air. And they were startled up on the hill, as you could imagine. But the being, the reptilian, looked up. Looked right at them. And they knew he was looking right at them. That freaked them out, and they ran. I'm not saying it's true. This story's been told. I've seen it a couple places. And he appeared out of nowhere right in front of them the way they were running too. And of course, they came to a screech and halt. But apparently, the story goes, he let them go. So what is it about our reality, my point here, that we don't know, that we should know? What are these symbols on these different secret societies and Kabbalah and on the aircraft? What kind of language on the gold plates in the series I made on Eric von Donovich on those 3-foot tall gold plates? I made videos on his books. What are those symbols? What are those beings on those symbols? What is it with the Indian religion and those symbols? Why was Shiva, a big image of the goddess of destruction, put on the Empire State Building recently? A lot of whys. And again, the purpose of my videos is to have a conversation, to maybe make people look into this and see there's a deception. See the third eye on her head? They don't want you to think. Atlantic Rising? The movie Avatar? And I did not preview these pictures. I just took from that one stack the first bunch of pictures. Then I've sorted everything out. Got all these symbols. What do they mean? I have a slight cold. The Indian religion is full of the symbolisms about what we're talking about. Crop circles are full of symbolism. Who are these beings? Well, you saw the pictures in the sequence that I took them out of the package here. What is really going on? Is there anything coming towards Earth? That was one packet. Maybe on the next video I make on this book, I will take the next index card and go through those pictures. And the next one, let's see the titles I have here: Aliens Anunnaki, Alien Dagon, Alien Greys, Alien Palladians, Alien Reptiles, Alien Syrians, Alien Tall Whites, Alien UFOs. These are the pictures I took of a sighting I had of orbs. I told you I saw orbs. See if I got a clear up picture here. I had these blown up at the pharmacy. Couldn't believe what I was seeing when I first saw them. It was a dark night in my condo complex in Orlando, Florida. But I saw orbs flying across the sky. You can see the orb there. Orange orbs. I'm trying to find my best picture here. See the tree line? I took these pictures. Now I would hope nobody, after as many hours and work as I've done, anybody would call me a liar. I do have the pictures still in my files on computers, and they're dated and all that. And I did go to, let's see what it says on the back of this thing here. That would have been on 5/23/2013. Remember, you start talking about these. Maybe I was making a UFO video back in 2013 or reading a book. According to that book I'm going over now, if you think about these entities, you can get them to show up. Anyways, that was my experience with actually seeing something. I've emailed these to friends of mine before. And I played with it at the pharmacy, blowing them up and doing all I could do to try to see what I had taken the picture of clearly. So I'm at the pharmacy, I got my pictures, and I zoomed in, you can see it. It doesn't look like a plane, and there was 6 or 7 of them going across the sky. Then at some point they just shot up into the sky. And who would have believed it? Three or four of them passed before I could get my camera in my hands. But when I finally got my camera in my hands, I actually got 3 in one picture. Crazy? Anyways, back to the book. Alright, back to the book. Looks like I've got about 15 minutes to do here. There is a little clock on my screen that lets me know when I'm getting close to 2 hours. And it does irritate me that I can't read the entire book. There's so much in here. But maybe I'm getting a little bit of information across. You can go online and find this book. But again, my caution. You can see when I'm reading it, there are some things that I just don't agree with. So again, is it information to mislead us? I don't think these angels are stupid. I don't think these 2 authors with PhDs are stupid. And I do believe there is a plan for a New World Order, New Age, Agenda 21. And I do think they have technological weapons that are way beyond what most people can imagine. And they're using them, especially with all the chemicals they're dumping in the sky. Vaccines, mandatory in 2 states. That'll probably increase. More terror events. They will try to disarm we the people. They want to herd us into the cities. They want to take us out of the rural countryside. You can look up maps of biodiversity and sustainability on Yahoo image site. I've showed them in previous videos, and we'll continue going over those topics. So what would aliens or other beings have to do with that? Are there any beings out there trying to help us, or are there beings cooperating with the elites? Are they the elites? And do they think there's just too many deer in the forest when you have to cull the herd because they're just eating up too much and there's not enough food? I don't believe that for a minute. I just think that we people are becoming more advanced. We're waking up, and it's a threat, it seems to me, to the establishment. And I think they've been using wars and food and diseases and weapons against people to keep the population down for a long time. And I'm not making that up. I've been watching some videos I'm going to share. Today I was watching 2 videos. Rosa, Koire, please go watch her. Smart Cities, Population Control, War, Famine, and Disease. And she was a person who should know. She was working for the government. Apparently, Thomas Mathis wrote a book in 1798, Population Manipulation, Social Equity, Free movement of people need to be curtailed. We need to reduce wages and expenses. And our freedom is at stake. Rural reduction, and they want everybody herded into mega cities. Globalhealthfreedom.org. And if you've got your notebook, you're writing some of this down. Info, KRIEG.TV. Places you can go look on the internet. Codex Alimentarius. You're trying to control what we eat, and if they control what we eat, they can kill us anytime they want to. They poison food, hurricane control, microwave, burns from the inside out. Apparently in California, it's obvious the trees were burning from the inside out. People took pictures and couldn't believe it. The outside of the tree wasn't even burned. I took notes here. And they've been doing the laser directed energy weapon development since 1994. And apparently the Santa Rosa, Northern California fires, they're using something called DEW, D-E-W, directed microwave energy weapons. So I just took some notes today, watching a couple of videos that just basically gave me the OMG. I said, what the heck? These people, it seems quite real. And then I'm reading about these angels here and orbs in this book in the last few days. And the oranges, which are some cousins to the orbs. And they're admitting that they're abducting people, creating hybrids. They live underground. All right, questions asked of all races. How do the angels cooperate? Is there a confederation that is acting together? Who do they act as messengers for? Why cannot humans access information that they are carrying? How best can humans communicate with the orbs? Does the information that the orbs carry bubble up into the consciousness? Are the orbs autonomous? I guess are they self-acting? Some words they have speech problems with. What is their intent? How do they work? What can the orbs tell us about the Confederation? The angel says we have answered some of these questions. We cooperate with all races, but only work with humans. Yes, there is a confederation, and angels are part of the confederation. We do not act as messengers except to humans. Orbs act as messengers. You have information about the orbs that we do not need to add to. And I did read in this book numerous pages. By the time I'm finished with this video, I'll have only read 5 or 6 pages from this book. I'm on page 145 right now. But I've been reading quite a while here, all these pages. I started on page 123. I read some in the beginning. So I read all that. So thought I would share a video and go back and read some more and make another video. So I read about 3 different races, and I thought I'd talk about the angels today. Question: can different extraterrestrial races also manifest responses? And are they positively oriented? Are their inherent conflicts detrimental to our interests? The angel says yes, there are conflicts between different races. More than you have learned already. Just because we do not stay all the time on earth does not mean that we have less conflict. There will be conflicts wherever there are races. Question: who are the good guys and who are the bad guys? And what can we learn from them? The angel says, that is a totally odd question. I thought it was an odd thing for the angel to say that that was an odd question. As you know so already, humans sometimes know who are good and bad guys, but do not acknowledge it or act upon that knowledge. So the angel's saying we humans recognize the good guys and the bad guys, but we don't act on it. And I'll say, from just reading what I was reading about this stuff with Rosa Koir and other people talking about how we humans are under attack with this new age and new world order, and giving us President Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton as options. We don't even have to talk about the previous options. A couple Bushes in a row, and Obama came out of nowhere, and puppet-controlled Ronald Reagan, and Bill Clinton and his shenanigans in office. It's too bizarre to even believe, but it's happening. But how much are we humans doing about it? We know, most people know, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party are both controlled by the same puppet masters, the Zionists, the Illuminati, the cult, communists, secret society, banksters, elites, wealthy people, corporations looking out for their interests. We know they're deceiving us all the time. We know that they were responsible for 9/11. If you've been doing research, you know that World War I and World War II were planned. Governments were making preparations, and the people were deceived all along. There was a purpose. And since the 1700s, 1800s, the elites admit, like the Russian Revolution, killing 100 million people or more, Chinese Revolution, all these things. They kill off people they don't want. But they keep a certain amount of people alive on the planet to be their slaves. It's what it is. But again, like it says in this book, humans sometimes know who are the good and bad guys, but do not acknowledge it or act upon that knowledge. All right, moving on here. What and who are the indigo children? Is there a specific race that is producing the indigo children? So there are these children being born. I've gone over this in previous videos. I think there's a huge article in Nexus magazine, etc. The angel says we like the indigo children. So are the indigo children some kind of hybrid? And I've been reading this book, and the gray aliens admit that they're abducting humans. Even the angels talk about it in the material I just read. And they created hybrid beings. A lot of people know that even Hitler's Germany, they were trying to create a super race. They're using cloning and eugenics even today. We're entering, or we have entered, the age of Aquarius. Just like when Jesus came along 2,000 years ago, the world changed. The spiritual world apparently sent a Messiah, a messenger, who tried to teach humans that we should love each other. They crucified him for that. You don't have to believe in religion or the God or the Bible or anybody to believe that's possible. The spiritual world seems to exist. And even Jesus said to the Pharisees, the elite Jewish people, "Ye are the killers of your prophets." Apparently the spiritual world has sent these beings to earth quite often. The only people who don't seem to know what's going on are the masses of people. Crazy things are happening and everybody's doing nothing. The angel says we like the indigo children. They are the easiest for us to talk to and to interact with. They have a natural ability to call us and interact with us. We are happy to interact with them. We light up with pleasure. The indigo children are a delight. So are they some kind of hybrid beings? Are humans evolving? Are we evolving naturally, or is somebody mixing with the recipe of our DNA? The Palladians and Barbara Marciniak's material on her book, I've made videos on. The Palladians apologized for messing with humanity thousands of years ago, and they're back to correct the problem, according to Barbara Marciniak, channeling the Palladians. Even in Zachariah Stitchin's material, apparently the Anunnaki aliens messed with the Neanderthal people on Earth with their beings and created a hybrid race of a different kind of bloodline. And they were reptilian beings. What are we to think? One thing I think is that we should start thinking. Or else, like those fires in California, or the hurricanes, or the Las Vegas shooting, or 9/11, and I could go on here for an hour or two, the secret society elitists who may or may not be in cahoots with some kind of other beings are bent on the new age and the new world order. They even use the word globalism, and they're using all this fake news and accusations about global warming and biodiversity, sustainability, going green, demonizing owning a gun. There's a purpose to what they're doing. And if we don't wake up, it'll be to our detriment. Question: they obviously find our human civilization to possess a valuable galactic characteristics, some of which they probably lost eons ago. Or they wouldn't be interbreeding with us. They certainly possess the ability to destroy our human civilization, but have not. Why? Well, obviously, they could destroy us. It seems like they are getting ready to depopulate the planet. They do have a lot of viruses and bacterial weapons, plagues that they have ready to use. I think they may be using them with the chemtrailing. I guess they want to kill off the population slowly, or call it something caused by God, a comet or a passing planet, pole shift, earthquakes, EMF, whatever. They just don't want the human race to wake up, so that when it's all over, nobody will know who did it. The angel says our purpose is to help the human race, not to destroy it. There are many races, and none have destroyed the human race. Book of Enoch, Dead Sea Scrolls, World War I, World War II, Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, Hitler. Monuments all over the world, kings and queens, 8 crusades over 300 years. I'd say somebody was destroying and attacking humanity for a very long time. With that said, thank you for watching my video. Rick Miracle reporting.